Installing and using Postman for API testing. Hello and welcome back to the lectures. In the last lecture, I have introduced you to IoTens, and IoTens is our IoT platform web application. And I have also demonstrated the use of simulator for simulating a physical hardware device. And using this simulator, we are able to push data to our IoT platform, and there we can visualize the data both in graphical and tabular manner. And in this lecture I will introduce you to a new tool, and this tool is called Postman. And this tool will be very helpful during our API testing, that means our web application web API testing. So let us open our favorite web browser and search for this in Google or any other search engine, and our search keyword is Postman. You can also add this search term, that is API, for better result. And here we have Postman, the world's leading API platform. Sign up for free. So here we are on the official web page of our application, that is Postman, and here we have the logo. So let us get familiar with this application. So what is Postman? Postman is an API platform for building and using API. Postman simplifies each step of API lifecycle and streamlines the collaboration so that we can create better and faster APIs. So you don't have to get confused with all these things, because really we are going to use a single feature of this application, that is to manually execute our web API or manually push data to our web API endpoint or the URL. That's it. So for that, just go to sign up for free. And here enter your personal detail and register an account. Fill in your personal details here and click this button, that is create free account. Let me try another username. Great. So I have registered my account, and now I have to go to my email, and from there I have to get this OTP or the 6-digit verification code and put it here. Then it will verify and activate my account. So here is my verification code, that is 685282. We have to just copy it from here and put it in the registration page like this. And here we go, verify account. Great. It's setting up my account. So you can use this application from within your browser, or you can also download a standalone version for your operating system. So from this interface we can send a manual API request to our endpoint that we were using here, and in the case of simulator everything was automated, but now our motive is to understand how everything is working in background, so we can't use the simulator. And here Postman will help us a lot to understand these web API requests. So to create a manual web API request, we have to go here, send an API request, and this interface is very easy. And here in the top you have to enter the URL of your API or the endpoint of your API, and in this case we have this one. This is our endpoint. So you can see it is https:// and it is app for application.iotens.com/API/v1 and device log. So you just copy it from here and put it here, and in this way we can send data to this endpoint, and from there, that means from this endpoint, our web application will be able to get the data and show you here on the dashboard using these beautiful graphs and these tables like this. And it will also properly save all this data in a proper database, that is MySQL database. So let us see how this Postman application is going to help us. This application, that is Postman, help us execute a REST API. And since REST APIs are itself based on the HTTP protocol, we have the various HTTP methods available here. That is, we have get, post, put, all these things we have all. So all these are the HTTP request methods, various different methods. So the beauty of this REST API is that it is completely based on the HTTP protocol. While the normal HTTP protocol is used by a human user using a web browser to send requests to a web server, on the other hand, this REST API, they are also based on the HTTP protocol, but there they are not used to access web pages or web resources. Rather, they are used to execute methods on the REST API endpoints. So generally, the REST APIs are executed by machines. On the other hand, the normal HTTP requests are initiated by humans to access a specific web resource like a web page or image or any other file downloads. And in case of normal HTTP request that is initiated by a human user, the response is in form of HTML that renders beautiful web pages on our web browser, which is intended to be read by a human user. On the other hand, the data that is sent or received using this REST APIs, they are in form of either XML or JSON. So these are small textual data that is transferred between the client and server. They are not complete heavyweight web pages written in HTML. Rather, they are simple string based data that is formatted according to the rule of XML or JSON. So generally, most of the time we are interested in only two HTTP methods or two REST method, that is get and post. So we use this method get when we want to receive some data from our API. On the other hand, when we want to send some data from our machine to the server, then we use this post method, because in case of post we are posting some data to the server, and in case of get request we are getting some data from the server. And that is the basic difference. One sends data and another one receives data. So in our web application, so right now our device is offline. When we want to push some data, we have to use the post method of HTTP or the post method of the REST API, like this. So first thing here, we have to select the method, and here we are going to select post method, and then we will move on to headers, that is the HTTP headers that are sent during this request from our device or from our this postman to our server. So please go to the lecture, that is the HTTP protocol, the lecture on HTTP protocol, to understand everything about these things. That means everything about these HTTP headers. So by default, when you come to this section, all the basic headers will be hidden. Only the custom headers will be shown. Here you can see that our application, that is Postman, has already hidden 8 of these headers. So just click on this button to view all these default headers, that means these common headers also. So we have content length that is currently 0. We will see how it will change. Then we have the user agent, and in this case we have Postman, and you can change it to something else if you wish. That is not required. And currently accept what it is going to accept from the server. Currently it is asterisk dot asterisk, that means any kind of data it will be able to accept. And then they are using this compression also. You can remove this compression also. Generally, when we will send a request from our embedded device, we will not use any this compression. The compression is only required when we are transferring large amount of textual data. But in case of this small machine to machine communication, this payload data is very extremely small, so we don't need all this overhead, and it is very tough to get this compression running on small embedded device. That is why we will skip this thing. And now finally, the most important thing, that is the body or the payload of this request. So our web application, that is IoT, it accepts data in form of JSON, and this JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So from here, from the simulator, you can get a template of this JSON string that we are sending to our server, and you have to copy all these things. Basically, this JSON is a simple name value pair, that's it. And you have to copy it from here and put it in this thing, that is your Postman here. And from here we have various different kinds of payload, and right now we have to select this one, that is raw payload. And here now you can paste that textual data, and as soon as you will change this to raw, you have various different options here like text, JavaScript, JSON. So we are formatting our data in form of JSON, so we'll set JSON here, and this is also the default setting. And then we can paste our data here from the template, and here we can specify various different parameters that we wish to upload to the server. And this payload, it has two different type of data. The first one is called the common data, that is common to all types of device, And then there are device specific kind of data. So we have two different kinds of data here. Now let me show you. But our this generator, it is mixing up those data. So here the temperature and humidity, these are the device specific data. So this is only applicable when the device type is a temperature and humidity logger, and in other types of device we don't have this thing. But all the common data, these are present to all different classes of the device. By classes I mean temperature and humidity sensor is one type of device. On the other hand, a GPS logger is a completely different class of a device. So that is the thing. For clarity, we will move these two data from the middle to the end so that we can know which one are the common and which one are the device specific. So here we have. So one of the advantage of this Postman application is that it will check this JSON data in real time, and it will report you about any of syntax error. Right now we have a syntax error here. So those will be highlighted or underlined in red. This is the standard method. And you can create error-free JSON using this interface. That is a very useful thing. So now I have arranged these parameters in a proper manner. So the topmost, this top parameters, these are the common parameters, and we have our longitude, battery level, uptime, latitude, device code. So this one is very important. So you have to put the device code here, where on which device you wish to push the data, and you can get it from here. From the dashboard you can see our device code is written here, that is 282908. So same device code you have to put it here in this section, that is device code. Then only whatever data you are pushing, it will go to this specific device. And finally we have the device specific data. We have humidity 45, temperature 30. So whatever data you can put here, so you can edit this to value as per your wish for testing. Now we are all ready to hit the send button, and as soon as we will hit the send button, the data will be transmitted from our this Postman application to our this IoT dashboard. And as soon as our dashboard will receive data from our client, it will become online. Right now we can see that our device status is offline, and this overlay will be removed and it will show as online. So now let us go to Postman and hit the send button. And one more thing, keep your eye here in the response section. Here in the very bottom we have the response section. As soon as we will hit the send button, it will execute this request, this REST or HTTP request, and whatever response it will receive from our server, it will show here. So let us hit the send button. Here we go, and we have this message from our server, that is message log. And the important thing here is this, that is 200 OK, and this is the HTTP response code. And as we all know that 200 corresponds to an HTTP OK status, that means our data has been successfully accepted by our server. And if you go to our application, here we will see that now our device is shown online, and it has received this message just 2 minutes before. And whatever we are pushing here, that means whatever temperature and humidity we are pushing. So right now we are pushing a humidity value of 80 and a temperature value of 15. So let us see if it is here or not in our dashboard. So we can see that we have this one. We can check the time also. It is 17:24, and it will become offline because we are not continuously sending the request. In order to make this device online, when we will create our firmware, it will continuously send these messages. In that case, our web application, it will think that our device is continuously online. But since we are testing this API, we are just sending this request once. And if continuous requests are not received from the device or from the simulator or from Postman, anything, our dashboard will consider that situation as offline. It needs continuous stream of data. So let us push once again. Let us this time change this to value to say 30, humidity is 30, and this temperature value to 20. Let us push it once again. Sending, sent successfully, 200 OK. Let us go here and wait for the device to come online. Wait for our web. Here we go, device connected, and let us analyze the data. the last push data. Here we go. We have pushed the value of 20. The temperature value is 20 and the humidity value is 30. Same is shown in graph here. 20. So now we are able to successfully push data using this Postman app, and now we have the better understanding how everything is working, how we are able to push data, how we have to format the data, what parameters we have to send. Everything is now very clear to the user. Let me show you one more thing, that is what will happen if we have some error in our request. So to create an error, we will put a invalid device code. So this one is a valid device code, that is 282908. Let us make it like 88. So now this device code does not exist in our IoT platform. This is totally invalid. Now let us see what will happen if we execute this bad request. So let us hit the send button and see what happens. This time we have received a 400 bad request. So this time we have received a 400 bad request message from our server. So anything in HTTP protocol, anything with this 400 code, it represents an error condition, and this is also indicated by this red color. And to help the user understand what was the problem with the request, we have a nice error message here, and this error message is also in form of JSON. So here we have an object errors, and it indicates that device code, the selected device code is invalid. So this message will help you find the problem with your request. So it clearly tells the user that he or she is using an invalid device code. So in the future, if you have any problems with these API, this error message will help you identify and rectify your error. So that's it for this lecture. See you in the next video.